So, Rick, you're one of the most conservative candidates in the race. You want to ban all abortions, defund Planned Parenthood, ban gay marriage, oppose same-sex unions, and yet you want to govern all the folks in the United States, or are you just governing from...
Well, my response to this, the people that have a different point of view, would you ask them the same question?
Yes, I ask everybody the same. Well, yes, everybody the same question. What do you? But
the point is, if someone has a different point of view, does that mean that they're only going to govern for people who would support all those things?
That's why I asked. That's why I asked.
The answer is no. Of course not.
Well, then, so how will you say to your constituents who may be gay or may find themselves in a position with something like Planned Parenthood? What will you replace it with if you take it away?
Well, first off, I'm for reallocating every dollar that goes to Planned Parenthood and put them in women's health centers that actually provide more comprehensive services than Planned Parenthood does. Planned Parenthood, for example, doesn't provide mammograms. Now, I know people say they do, but they don't. In fact,
yeah, they do.
No, Cecile Richards yesterday at the hearing said, in fact, they do not. In fact, there are no Planned Parenthoods that provide any mammogram services. They basically provide abortion, contraception, STDs, things like and pregnancy tests. That's it. There are much more comprehensive women's health care centers. I spent a lot of time in Iowa, and in Iowa, there's 213 women's health centers. 13 Planned Parenthood centers. So if you said we were going to take the Planned Parenthood money, reallocate it to actually clinics that do provide a whole host of other women's health services, women are probably going to get a more holistic health screening at those places than they would at Planned Parenthood.
So you're saying if you reallocate all of that money away from Planned Parenthood to these clinics, will those clinics then provide abortions, or where do you want these displaced women to go?
Yeah, well, there are obviously, Planned Parenthood is one abortion provider in the country. There are others that provide abortions. Some, it depends on the state. Some, there are very few abortion providers. Some, like in the state of New York, there's a lot of them. So that, again, the money that we're reallocating has nothing to do with abortion. I mean, I will accept that the money that is going to Planned Parenthood cannot be used for abortion. So when you reallocate that money away, it shouldn't affect their ability to provide abortions, unless, of course, they're commingling funds, and that's one of the questions that people have.
This is touchy. I want to ask a different kind of question.
Yes, ma'am.
Not speaking for, but being a part of the gay and transgender community, why can we not have equal marriage rights?
Yeah.
In your opinion?
Yeah. I would say this, that marriage has a particular role and purpose in society. It always has. And the whole purpose of marriage is to encourage, for society to encourage men and women to come together to form permanent bonds for the benefit of each other. And just like you would say, well, two women coming together, that benefits each other. But the greater purpose of marriage that society has always valued is to bring men and women together so when they have children, there's a permanent bond by which those children can be raised by their natural mother and natural father. And when you have a law that says, as the court said, that marriage has nothing to do with children anymore, then what you're going to have is you're not going to have a society encouraging the behavior that is in the best interest of children and the future of society.
I don't understand why you feel like people in the gay and transgender community can't raise a very beautiful, smart, intelligent child as well as a man and a woman, when sometimes, coming from a heterosexual family, there's a lot more fighting, there's a lot more stuff going on, and there's more, sometimes, not all the time, get that straight, not all the time. I don't understand why you feel like that community can't give and provide for that child just as well as a straight couple can.
Again, I'm not saying that a same-sex couple can't have, a very positive and nurturing environment. But the natural mother and natural father of that child is what historically, and I think sociologically look at today, is in the best interest of that child to be raised by their natural mother and natural father. It's in the best interest of those parents to raise.
I have a question for you.
And that's really what we want to encourage. We want to encourage that type of bond.
I want to ask you something. You ran for president back in 2012. You were fairly successful that time, not successful enough.
Pretty good.
But wait, pretty good.
11 states.
Now you're at 1%. At what point do you decide to drop out of this and support someone else within your own party?
Yeah. You know, 4 years ago, I was at 1%. And in fact, 2 weeks before the Iowa caucuses, I was at 2% in the national polls. And what I found is that there was actually a recent poll taken by the Des Moines Register that said that less than 12% of the people in Iowa had made up their mind yet. So what you're seeing in these polls is basically who the media is paying attention to. That's who they end up supporting. But most people have not made up their mind yet. I found that out in Iowa 4 years ago. I was at 1% and 2%. I was getting that question continually up until about 3 weeks before the election. All of a sudden, people started to have to make their decision. They wanted to look at not just who was on the media, but who actually is going to be the best person to be the president, and that's why we rose to the top and we were able to win. And so I think that will and can happen again.
Even in this group, which there's what, like 14 out there?
Yeah, but I think as you've already seen 2 candidates drop out. One who 6 months ago, actually 2 months ago, most people thought was going to be the nominee, Scott Walker, and 2 months later, he's out of the race. Those are the kinds of things that can and will happen. 4 months is a lifetime in politics.
You are a devout Catholic, or an evangelical Catholic.
I call myself an evangelical
As you've
Catholic,
said, you've been married for 25 years.
Yeah.
You have 7 children. And recently, your daughter, Bella, was blessed by the Pope.
Yeah.
What did that mean to you?
Well, that was a very special time. We had 4 tickets. We got 4 tickets for this event, the departure ceremony at the airport, and so Karen and 3 of our kids and Bella went up because Bella is held, so she doesn't need a seat. And we were blessed because we didn't have the front row seats, but 2 people saw our daughter there. Sorry, and they gave up their 2 seats so Bella could beat the Pope. And it was a great blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, to see him, he held her and he kissed her and blessed her. And Bella's a miracle. I mean, she has a disorder called trisomy 18, which is 1% of the kids who have this disorder live to a year, and she's 7.5. And so she's a miracle every day and a blessing to her. And she's a joy. She's a great kid. We love her to death.
She's got your heart. Fantastic.
Wow. Rick.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back.
Thank you, Whoopi. It's good to be with you.
Come back. Come back again.
I appreciate it.